In 1953, the state of Michigan leased the rights to construct a pipeline along the bottom of the Straits of Mackinac just west of the current Mackinac Bridge, stretching from St. Ignace to Mackinac City. The lease was left open-ended without a closing date. The pipeline was initially intended to operate for 50 years. It has now been in continual operation for 66 years.
Originating in Alberta, Canada, the pipeline runs for 645 miles from Superior, Wisconsin, across the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, very close to northern Lake Michigan, crossing under the Straits of Mackinac through the Lower Peninsula of Michigan to Sarnia, Ontario. The Line 5 pipeline has leaked spills 33 times since 1970, releasing 1.1 million gallons of oil along its path. This pipeline crosses 100 tributaries and 400 waterways in Michigan alone.
The pipeline delivers 540,000 barrels per day, or 23 million gallons of crude and natural gas liquids. 95% of the crude oil ends up at the refineries in Canada for Canadian consumption or export.
The original design of the 4.1-mile Straits crossing for the 20-inch twin pipelines required that the pipelines rest directly on the bottom. Since 2002, 150 anchor supports were installed to combat lakebed erosion caused by higher than expected currents. Parts of the pipeline are currently unsupported at all. No engineering analysis has been performed to assess the new stresses on the aged pipeline.
Enbridge was only required to carry $1 million of liability insurance in 1953. Inadequate liability coverage means that the public will absorb most of the losses from an oil spill. A major release of a spill from Enbridge Line 5 could cause an economic disaster of over $6 billion.
A major rupture of the Line 5 pipeline would result in soiling at least 800 miles of shoreline on Lake Michigan and Lake Huron. 70% of the shoreline properties draw their drinking water from wells that will be permanently contaminated. Communities that draw their water from the lakes would need to shut down their facilities completely. Property values would drop between 25% and 60%, totally amounting to over $1.4 billion. The market values would grossly decrease revenue to local communities.
Analysis of pure Michigan statistics indicate that over 25,000 jobs could be lost across Michigan in the tourism industry, with additional job losses in the thousands devastating the Michigan economy.
A major oil spill will result in the shutdown of commercial shipping. Medically, when there is an oil spill, public health damages occur from exposure to toxic components in oil.
Petroleum odors would persist for years to come, and environmental damages would occur to fish, birds, amphibians, reptiles, and mammal populations.
The bottom line: is it worth the gamble to lose the Straits of Mackinac, Lake Michigan, and Lake Huron, devastating lives, destroying a healthy Michigan economy, and jeopardizing national security just so Canadian oil company Enbridge can amass billions more for themselves with no regard for the people of Michigan?
Oftentimes, we are faced with monumental decisions with little evidence to support a position. In this case, the evidence is overwhelming. It's time to shut down Enbridge Line 5.